Well, hello and welcome to Double Talk. I'm Mark Steffen.
And I'm Katie Couric.
Katie,
yes,
you look flatter than I would have expected.
Yes, well, you know, the television adds a size cup C.
Well, that's true. Television always does do that.
That does, especially on you.
Poor Oprah.
It does. She's got tons of things. You know, those guys who were working at the airport, the spaceport.
Yeah.
Some of them left because they didn't get paid for 3 months, and they're not being able to meet their budgets.
Tell me about it.
We haven't gotten paid for 3 months.
Well,
and we're still here. We'll have to take this up with the union.
That'll teach us.
The Union Pacific.
Yeah.
Or the Union Rio Grande.
Well, one of
them.
We're getting to the Union Pacific in a little while.
Well, yes, but your hair looks odd.
But first,
yes,
we're going to.
That's better.
You know, we all eat. Well, we all have to eat, right?
Yes.
We all eat, and
many of us like restaurants.
We tend to be foodies when it comes to restaurants.
I'm a foodie.
Or gourmand.
I'm a foodie.
I think a gourmand is when if you
You
can't afford to be
yourself.
If you can't
A
afford to be
gourmet.
a foodie, you're a gourmand.
I think a gourmand is somebody who goes to the Empire Buffet and eats as much as they can, and
No, that's a glutton.
And they go. I love Chinese food. I love Japanese food, and we should move over. Yeah, there we go.
But
I'll just move over here.
You like?
Oh, look, that's great.
We have a few buffets in town. I'm really not that crazy about them.
No, you know what? The
There's like
term
three
all
or
you can
four.
eat is not a good concept. People should not eat all they could eat. Really, I mean, I can
no.
eat a lot, and it shows, and it's not a
Exactly.
good practice. You
So
got to
really,
look for quality,
If
right?
you eat what you should eat, then an all-you-can-eat buffet is really not an economical place to eat.
No, and the stuff isn't good, isn't as fresh.
No, it's mass-produced.
Nor as it yeah, right there, and it just goes on forever. This is why when I eat Chinese food, where do I eat? Oriental Palace.
Oriental Palace.
So here we are, because they are sitting in the back chopping up little broccolis, and they're making the little wontons with their little fingers.
That's true.
They wipe their nose, and
But
they
you know,
make them
I've eat, that's the one on Idaho, right?
I like that place.
Yeah. Of course, when you go to the restroom to wash your hands, you go right past the kitchen.
That's right.
And I just wish the kitchen was a bit cleaner.
Well,
I have
they're
to say.
dealing with food.
I have to exactly.
Hey, they've been okayed by the health department. But let's talk about, you know, the most recent thing was this past week, the paper had a story about how restaurants trying to get extra business, and now is when people are traveling and there'll be a lot of tourists, people coming up from El Paso. La Posta and Double Eagle are two of the big destination parts for people from El Paso, and they're trying to take advantage of the fact that they have enormous history.
Well, right. That's about all, if you ask me. Those are my two least.
Who asked you?
They're my two least favorite restaurants in Mesilla.
You know, but they don't compare. I mean, you can't compare La Posta with Double Eagle. Double Eagle is going for a classier, more expensive clientele.
Well, they both have Mexican food. The Peppers portion of Double Eagle does.
Yeah. Well, you know, actually, Double Eagle is doing those aged steaks. You know, they wait till the cows are about 30 years old, I think, and then they cut it off.
When the mad cow disease is fully in place.
Yeah, so, no, Double Eagle is pretty good. They have good martinis at Double Eagle, and they have good margaritas at La Posta. You cannot knock them for their margarita. They know how to cook margaritas and martinis.
Well, so what you do, you stop off at La Posta for a drink.
Yes.
And
then go to La Cocina.
Then you go to somewhere else
or
for lunch.
Or Achilles heel. That's your suggestion? So, but La Posta, the building is from 1875, and Double Eagle is actually, they say, even older. And if you remember, when we did our old show, we did this story about ghosts.
Right.
And Double Eagle has tons of ghosts. They are so crowded, they have a whole room for them.
Well, Scott, we have one ghost that they're very proud of, that we know of.
Yes, the one in that corner room.
In the back room, yeah.
We've had
Carlotta's room.
We've had experience with that ghost, because I was there showing my nephews the room and telling them how it's haunted, and all of a sudden something knocked in a wall where nobody was, and my nephew said, "Well, how did you do that?"
Ventriloquism.
I didn't do that.
Oh, the ghost is here?
Yeah, ventriloquism. I threw my knock.
Yeah, sure.
I can't throw my voice. It's a little too.
I knew you were talented, but
it's a basso profundo. It's profundo.
Well, then another time we were doing our old show.
Yes.
We were there interviewing Cesar Romero, the great actor, At the Double
That's
Eagle.
right, we
remember?
did that, and then he lost the ghost a couple of months later.
He gave up the ghost.
He gave up the ghost a couple of months later. Cesar Romero.
Did you make him sick?
He loved us, yes, but unfortunately, the excitement of meeting us was so great. His heart palpitations never ceased until they finally ceased.
Right. So
We're
anyway,
good.
when it comes to restaurants,
Yes,
they come and they go.
but
a lot of them
some
stay.
have stayed.
The problem I think I have with Las Cruces restaurants is consistency. And they lack a lot of consistency.
Okay, then you're talking about homegrown restaurants, not the chains. You know,
The chains are pretty standardized.
chains are standardized, but they're not bad. Red Lobster and Olive Garden, owned by the same company, Darden, which I should divulge I own stock in it.
Oh, I see.
But I go there anyway because actually I like both of them. The way they train their staff, I mean, because it's a corporate staff training system, they treat you really nice, and that has never been the standard for Las Cruces. Las Cruces waiters would ignore you for a long time, but now they're getting better.
They're getting better, but sometimes it's inconsistent. And the food is
inconsistent.
frequently inconsistent at the local restaurants, depending on who's the chef.
That's
or
because you
the
eat there
cook.
so much, so you can tell one time.
And
We're getting pretty good, though.
look, I got a pet peeve. I'm going to air it right now here.
Okay, what's your peeve?
And this peeve has happened to me more than once in Las Cruces.
Yes.
You go to a restaurant, you look at the menu, you decide what you're going to eat, you look at the price of it, and you place your order.
Oh.
Right? You eat
Yeah.
you eat your meal.
Yes.
They bring the check at the end of the meal, and you look at the check, and they've charged you more than the menu says the meal costs. That's happened to me more than once in this town. So you call it to the waitress's attention, and which is what happened to me just recently at La Iguana on the downtown mall. She charged me an extra 50 cents for my sandwich.
Oh my God, extra 50 cents.
Yeah, and I
but
said-
you know, La Iguana is actually one of the restaurants that is still having some sort of service problem.
Well, they've been open long enough to have fixed that.
And
So I called.
what was the other instance?
Well, wait a minute. Let me finish
Okay.
this story here.
Yes.
So I call it to her attention, and she says, "Oh, well, that's because you ordered the gluten-free roll with that sandwich." I said, "It doesn't say that anywhere on the menu, and you didn't tell me that it cost 50 cents more, so I'm paying what the menu said."
Can I just clarify there?
Okay.
I just want to clarify because I've seen that menu, and after the food it says GF 50 cents.
Where
It
does-
says GF 50 cents. Well, sometimes it says.
well,
It says GF 50 cents. You don't know that it's gluten-free unless you have a gluten-free diet, and you don't.
well, I didn't know
So-
that, but that's the roll I wanted. I wound up not
But-
eating most of the roll anyway.
But they should have told you that.
She didn't handle it
They
well.
should have told you that.
And she brought the wrong change, and I said, "Oh," called her attention to it. She went in the back, and it never came out again. So we got up and left. And her tip was the money she never brought back, which was 70 cents.
I would believe those guys are still a little befuddled, but almost every. Oh, my wife at where were we? At Olive Garden. She ordered a drink, and it took a long time to get it. And I think she was upset with how it was made. And then her dish, they said they happened to burn the first one. It was just like eggplant parmesan. They burnt the first dish, and they didn't have to tell us this. And they said, well, it's going to be a little while to come and bring out your other dish. And they brought out the other dish. And at the end of that meal, we were charged for my dish and my drink, and that was it.
They
comped her the drink and they comped her the food.
well, see, that's a case
that's
of a
how you're
restaurant
supposed
handling it properly.
They know what they're supposed to do. We are so.
That'll teach you to go. But that'll teach you to try and eat it, at one of those roadhouse chains.
Well, it didn't teach us. We saved. Not that we went there to save money.
Yeah, but you had a bad experience with the food.
No, we didn't. We had. I mean, it just took a little while to get the drink and the dish, but it was okay. It was pleasant. We also here you are listening to tales of things in what's the one in Sunland Park?
Garden restaurant?
No, the one that is Italian. That Artavino's Desert Crossing. We were once there. They were a little slow in serving us, so they actually comped us a bottle of wine or something.
Well, that's a very classy place too.
I know. So good places understand that the customer, should be leaving the place happy, not how you left.
Exactly,
La Iguana.
because if you had a bad experience, you will tell others.
But we would never tell somebody else because it's liable to get around town. That's why we only talk to this TV station so that nobody gets what?
Well, I went to a Mexican restaurant.
Okay.
Cruces. They charged me more on the ticket than the menu said that the meal cost. When I went to pay the bill, I called it to her attention, and she said, "Oh, the menu is wrong." So,
You know, most places, in fact, off restaurants for a second, I was at Home Depot, and I said, look, if you get these special order doors, they're 20% off. And the guy said, okay, it's fine. Then he looks at the thing, and he says, well, Bill, this offer is two weeks old, but if you order them right now, you'll get them for 20% off. Whatever, a good store will give you whatever the customer wants, really. You might have some bargaining power, that means, if you really want to.
Well, I think I was telling you, I went to a restaurant recently, one of the Lorenzos, and I ordered spaghetti, and they came, and it was linguine. And I said, oh, this isn't spaghetti, and this is linguine. He said, oh, no, that's our spaghetti. So when it was time for me to pay the bill, it was $10. I gave the guy a $1 bill. I said, oh, that's my $10 bill.
And was that why you were arrested and codes violation?
No, but I'll tell you what, those 3 restaurants I had a bad experience with, I've never been back since.
You also have trouble, when we're looking at things, you need to use my glasses, so could that be part of the problem? It's very hard for you to interpret things.
I can tell the difference between spaghetti and linguine.
Really? What's the difference? One's flatter.
The width.
The width?
Yeah. Now, if you want to get it done right, you have to eat at home. Pretty much is the way it has to be.
You don't know how we cook.
You make it yourself. No. I cook a lot. I don't mind cooking. I'm pretty good at some dishes.
I have to admit the dish. Go ahead.
And what's even better is if you grow your own food as much as possible in your home vegetable garden.
Grow your own what?
Food.
Oh.
Fruits and vegetables.
How do you
vegetable garden? I have. Well, although I have this year.
You can't always grow what you want.
I'm doing it in pots. That way I can move the pots around to wherever I want them.
You're growing pot?
God.
Oh. Nobody knows where you live.
And in a trailer down by the river.
You wish you had such freedom of coming and going.
I do.
Oh, this is great. This is a panoply of green gardens, none of which are probably in Las Cruces because we pretty much grow. Do you eat a lot of cactus?
No,
How about mesquite?
Well, no, but
salt cedar.
This year I'm growing all not only vegetables but
chickens,
organic vegetables.
Well, what do you do? Go out in the middle of the night and poop on them?
You have to be very careful because when you go to buy potting soil and things like that, don't get the Miracle Grow because it's got all kinds of chemicals in there. You're no longer growing organically.
You're growing chemically.
So I got some topsoil and some potting soil. I mix them together. I put them in the pots, put my plants in the pots, and they're doing very well.
You look much healthier since you've been doing this.
Well, you get some sun when you're out there doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? You look so much healthier. You're sturdy. When is the first plant going to come up that you're going to be able to eat? Like September or like
the plants are already like this.
Really?
Yeah, but
I have blackberries coming out. You should come over and get some.
Oh, okay.
Blackberries are great. I'm also growing basil, but only
really. Do you have any dingleberries coming up?
Check.
Yeah. You do.
Well, no, we changed our toilet paper brand.
But anyway, home vegetable gardens are the way to go. It's a little more trouble, and I'm not sure if it's cheaper or not, because with what you spend
on watering and on buying the seeds and all the work,
and then all the work you put into
time
it,
is money. Time is money.
And,
your time is like $100 an hour.
Well, that's why I'm doing it in pots.
But only when you have a trick.
It's much easier to weed it when they're in pots. You don't tend to get weeds.
Ooh. That's a good idea.
It's true.
That's how my basil is.
Speaking of weeds,
it's time we have to weave.
We're going to take a break first, and when we come back, we'll talk more about weeds.